All right, everyone, welcome to probably the most important video that I've made thus far. This is the entire blueprint, the entire map of exactly how you're going to make an automation agency from A to Z. This is going to serve as the guide to give you that foundation, especially as you're just starting, on what your roadmap looks like, what you have to do, all the necessary steps coming up to be in a position at the end where you're selling automations to businesses, you're getting recurring monthly income coming in, and you're actually building something tangible for yourself. So I want this one video to serve as that guide to basically answer all of the questions that you're probably facing at the very early stages. I've taken all the feedback that I've gotten from other licensees and affiliates, things that you guys are struggling with, questions that you have. I'm going to pack everything into this one video that's going to basically just explain everything for you. And if there's anything else after that, then obviously you can reach out to me. But I want this to be that one perfect resource for all of you. So this is the structure and the way that I've set it up. So we've got the starting point where you likely are right now, where you've just got your high level or Hexona account, and you're wondering exactly what do I do with this? What's my next step here? So then we're going to go through the setup, how to actually get your company up and running if you want to do your own brand as well, and things that you need to set up within the software as well. Then exactly how you can learn the software, how you can become an automation specialist, how you can potentially reach my level and start feeling confident that you can sell this to other businesses as well, and truly build really reliable solutions for your clients. From there, we're going to jump into probably what you're the most curious about is the actual sales and selling processes. What's the best way to get clients? How do you reach out to them? What do you say? So that's all going to be included here, exactly where you can find the answers to those questions. Then we're going to jump into the onboarding and the payment process. So say you've got a client who agrees to move forward. What are the next steps there? What do you need to get started? How do you get them onto the platform? And importantly, how do you get paid? What methods of payments do we use? And how do you make sure that you get paid on a consistent monthly basis? And then from there, once everyone's onboarded, you've got your money. Now, how do you actually deliver on your promise? How do you fulfill the automations? How do you deliver them? How do you provide them to the clients? How do you make sure that they're running the way that you intend? So we're going to go through all of these things here from start to finish. This is your full automation agency guide from A to Z. We can just jump straight into it. So we're going to start off with the starting point. So where you likely are right now, whereas you've just purchased a license of Hexona systems. So this is what your screen looks like. So you have access to all of the high-level features over here, all the different modules that are available inside the software I've given you access to. And what we call this is a sub-account. So you have access to your sub-account where you can track everything about your business. This is where you can play around with the software and all of that. Now, as a part of the license that I provide you, you're entitled to 3 sub-accounts with that initial license. So the common setup is that you have one for yourself, for your business. So that's where you're going to have your website. That's where you're going to have your own personal automations. That's where you can track your own contacts and any hot leads that you have. That's going to take place inside your sub account. Then you can have a sub account as a demo account. So this is one that you can just mess around with. You can put fake contacts in there. You can create random automations. You can just try and play around with it, click every button possible. There's nothing that you can do that's really going to break it. So just have fun in that demo account. And then your third sub account and onwards from there, so your fourth, fifth, sixth, will most likely be for the clients that you close. And they're going to have their own version of the platform which they can use. So this is what it looks like when you have multiple sub accounts. So on the top left-hand corner, it'll say your business name. So this is just an example from one of the licensees. But when you click on that, then you are able to switch in between different sub accounts. So you as your own agency owner, you have your own sub account. Then you've got your second sub account, third, fourth, and this list will keep growing as you get more customers. And I'm the one who creates those sub accounts for you. So initially when you sign up, you are entitled to 3, but you have to specifically ask me for the 2 additional ones if you want them after you sign up. So by default, you're just going to have 1 over here. But if you want the other 2, then just shoot me a message on school and I'll add 2 more to your account. Now, what exactly is a sub account and how do they work? So I'm going to show you my own example. So here in the top left, you can see that this is Hexona Systems. So this is my sub account for Hexona Systems. I run my business out of this account. So you can see here that this is like my website. I built it on the platform here. So that's my actual website. So everything regarding my business, Hexona Systems, takes place inside my own sub account, almost like I'm my own client. I integrate all my accounts to this. I have all my contacts in here, all my conversations from my Facebook, Instagram. Anything business related happens within my sub account. So you can see here, for example, I went to the opportunities tab, and this is an example of some of the older deals that I had that are just sitting here in the pipeline. But you can see that I literally used Hexona as my own CRM, where I would track leads on the different stages that they're in. So a new lead, hot lead, commercial evaluation, in the setup phase. And I would move these deals along just like I was running my own business inside my own software. So that's really the purpose of your own sub account there. You should run your own business out of it. Now, as an example, I'm going to show you one of my clients' sub accounts. So you can see here that the name is different. Their name is Doc Heroes. They work with docs. And the software is the exact same. So this is a different sub account, but with the same features. But you can see here that their stages are different. And this is their clientele. So their leads and the different deals that they're working on will be inside their sub account. So they're very separate things, but they're the same software. So that's really the point here, where we have a replica of our software that we're just going to keep creating different sub accounts for, and different users will have access to different sub accounts. Everyone runs their own business out of their own sub account or deals with their own automations in their own sub account. I just want to make that very clear up front. So next we're going to move on to building your company and your online presence. So a lot of these are optional because at the beginning I told you that you can either use Hexona and use my name and sell it as Hexona, or you can still create your own company, your own brand, like a lot of the other licensees are choosing to do. Like, for example, we've got over here, Modern Missionaries. We've got someone called Wavefront Automations. We have someone called Matrix Automations. So you can create your own name and your own company just using Hexona like we discussed. And then what goes into that is you've got to set up a couple things. So get your own logo, get a domain, your website up and running, a Google profile if you want, get a phone number, and the Stripe account. Most of these are optional. Stripe is essential because I don't see how else you're going to get paid. So make sure you get Stripe. The way that you can figure out how to do all of these is in the next video. So in this series that we have, Getting Started with Automations, where you're watching this video most likely, if not on YouTube, then we have a video here called Setting Up Your Brand as a Licensee. I tell you where to get Stripe, how to make your logo, how to get your domain. So just watch this video and it's going to answer all of these questions over here. For the phone number question, we have a module there as well. So just watch that on how to get your phone number. Pretty easy. That's how you're going to start doing text-based automation, sending SMSs back and forth, things like that. So the setup phase should be relatively straightforward. And then once you're done with that, then we're going to move on to actually learning the software once it's set up and then practicing building automations. How can you best do that and what resources are available to you to teach you how to become competent and an expert in the automation space? So the first thing that you got to learn is our software, obviously. So all of these different features, how to use them, what's available to you inside the platform. Really get comfortable using your own software, because if you are going to be selling it, then you should have some fundamental understanding of how it works, of course. So luckily for you, in the bottom left-hand corner, when you do open up the platform, there's something called onboarding. So there's this dedicated onboarding course that you can watch. You do have to sign up. So it's an email and just your name, and it's going to email you a one-time password, which you can use to log in and access the onboarding tutorial. But just go through most of the videos and it's going to show you how to use all of the important features and give you a understanding of the software itself. So I provide this to you free of value. Just start learning the software. It'll make things a lot easier. Then from there, obviously, in order to learn, I've got the course videos inside the automation playlist. So from here, you get a walkthrough of the platform, and then you get basics on automations, and then you get actual walkthroughs where you can build automations alongside me, follow my instructions step by step, and then you can have the same automations that I've built. I'm going to continually keep adding to this. So this is an ongoing resource. Your learning never really stops, but I've got the course videos set up here for you. From there, we also have my YouTube channel. So a lot of people don't know that I have a YouTube channel as well. And that's where I post a lot of automation videos that aren't available on the school community, but are more public facing. So like how to build an Instagram DM bot, for example, or walkthroughs of my automations or different tutorials. There's like a restaurant building automation in there. So a lot of resources there. So I recommend checking it out. It's just my name. You can search Hamza Beg automations or something and it should come up, but I'll also link it in the description as well. And then every one of my licensees does get access to the Agency Squared playbook. And then in here, we do have documentation where I've broken down all the different features and value propositions inside the software. So for example, like the all-in-one inbox, the value proposition, use cases for it, and data and metrics that you can use in your pitches. And then this goes in quite detail about, extra value, and this document's quite large. So you have access to this inside the affiliate vault. So you can use this as a learning resource as well. Now, one thing that I also want to mention that a lot of people don't know is that there's a lot of documentation publicly on High Level from themselves. They have a fantastic resource and FAQ section where you can learn basically anything about the platform. If you have a question that you don't want to ask me, or if it's just something small, really, you can just Google it and there's going to be an answer there, most likely. So for example, like, how do I import contacts in High Level? So I just Googled this, and the first thing that came up was like their documentation page where they have like support articles, and this is what it looks like. So bulk import contacts into CSV. They have a walkthrough. They break it down for you. They even have like a video that you can follow along. So any question that you have regarding the software, anything you're stuck on, just Google it and then write Go High Level after it. And most likely there's going to be a support document for you. And you can see here that they've got answers to basically everything that you could need. So this is really a fantastic resource to learn, especially if you have questions that naturally come up. Try and Google it first before getting stuck and then booking a call with me. Always happy to help you, but a lot of questions that you guys are asking are publicly available and very easy to solve on your own, which also teaches you that like self-reliance as well. If you have a problem, learn to solve it on your own before reaching out to me. And another resource which a lot of people wouldn't recommend, but I don't care. I want you guys to be as successful as possible because we all win together. So feel free to leverage other creators as well. I'm not the only one that creates tutorials on High Level and has videos on YouTube that you can use and reference. So if you have like a question or something like how to build a dentist automation and Go High Level, for example, there are videos out there from either High Level themselves or like other random creators that you can watch and you can follow along as well. I'm just one man. I can't make videos on every possible niche or every automation or answer every question that you have, but a lot of people might have answered that question. So feel free to watch other creators, look at what they have, get inspiration from others as well. That's what I do too. I don't solely rely on my own brain. There's so much knowledge out there that everybody's sharing. So feel free to take advantage of that. So I'm happy to send you away, refer you to some good videos or other creators, and everybody can grow together. So definitely take advantage of what's out there. YouTube's a fantastic resource. All right, so from there, we're going to move on to the selling portion. So how to actually conduct the sales and what's available to you. Now, of course, this is just going to be a high-level overview. I don't want to dive into specific sales strategies here. This is just meant to give you a broad outline of what tools are available to you, where you can find the right resources, and to put you guys on the right track. So in terms of the outreach methods you have available to you, I'm sure you're familiar with these, but cold calling, cold email, networking, this is huge. Organic content, this has been very successful for me, as you've obviously seen me from my YouTube or my TikTok. And then social media DMs, joining groups, just messaging people on Facebook, for example. There's strategies based around all of these things. And someone in the group, or many people in the group, have had success with all of these different methods. So each one of them works within its own right. It just depends on who you're targeting and what your skill set is and what you feel the most comfortable doing. One thing I do recommend is watch my video if you haven't already about how to find your first niche and client. This will give you the basis on how to get started. This can be found on YouTube. A lot of people said it was very useful, and some of them landed their first client using this exact method. So highly recommend watching this if you haven't. It'll give you a good foundation on at least how to get started, get some testimonials through the door, and then from there go after a broader target base. In terms of specific strategies and resources, so within the same playbook, we have a sales and prospecting section. So we have specific outreach methods that you can use. So cold calling, different methods of outreach, which method is the best for you, how to actually book meetings. So these are going to be in here, as well as scripts, cold email templates, social media, objection and rebuttals that you're going to face. So definitely take advantage of what's inside the playbook. I wrote it firsthand during my own journey, and it's been refined now, as I've gained experience. But you get to really be there with me on the insights that I've gathered, what I've learned, and then use that to your advantage here and take all of the failures and the shortcomings that I had and just learn from them if you can. So then we're going to move on to the sales process. So I want to give you a structured foundation on what my sales process is, how I basically get these deals and move them along the pipeline. And again, you can follow this if you'd like, or you can tailor it and make it your own. But this is what I found to work most of the time. So I think this might be the easiest model to get started with, at least at the beginning. So it starts off with initial contact. So obviously just introduce yourself. If it's a cold prospect, then just introduce yourself, what you do, what you help businesses with. try and build that rapport. The objective at this stage, so whether it's on a cold call or right at the beginning of a cold email, is not to sell anything. Don't try and shove something down their throat. You don't even know what they want or what their business needs. The objective here is just to pique their interest, get them intrigued on what you have to offer. Automations, AI, ChatGPT, all of these are big buzzwords that get people interested and intrigued. And the objective of that initial contact is just to book a sales call. Get them either in an in-person meeting, allow them to dedicate 30 minutes with you for a quick sit down, whether that's face-to-face or if that's on Google Meets or Zoom. That allows you to properly convey yourself and figure out what they're in need of. Once you've actually booked the sales call, then this is where you're going to do something called discovery, which is a sales term, but it basically means discovering or uncovering the pain points that they're dealing with inside their business. And the way that you do that is, one, by building rapport, getting them comfortable with you, and then two, by asking the right questions. So within the playbook, there's a list of good discovery questions, but you basically just want to uncover what are they doing today, what are the problems that they're facing, any bottlenecks holding them back from where they want to be. Once they give those to you, once you know, okay, this is exactly what the problem my prospect has, now you have ammunition to present solutions. So you can walk through the system. If you can solve an immediate problem, then you can do a demo of the platform. Say, hey, if you're missing all of these leads, you're getting overwhelmed, you can't get back to people fast enough, check out missed call text back. This is a feature that we have built into our platform. Anytime somebody calls your business, you miss it, an automatic AI bot is going to reach out to them saying, hey, sorry, I missed your call, and then engage into a conversation with them and figure out if it's worth your time to actually reach back out to them. Or if they tell you that, hey, people are Googling us, no one's able to find us, I'm not getting any business from my website, then you can open up their website in front of them and you can say, hey, your website's not optimized to capture any traffic at all. There's no form submission. There's no call to action. There's no chat widget here. How are people meant to reach you? The phone number is broken. Let me make you a mock website, and I can present it to you tomorrow. And I can show you exactly how you're going to start getting more leads using our website, or optimize their Google business profile. Or if they say that their no-show rate is too high, show them automatic, SMS confirmation, reminder text, whatever it is, right? So there's always a solution to almost any problem that they have. And the more times that you do this, the more sales calls you have, just naturally you can come up with a solution on the fly, pitch it to them, and then formally present a proposal afterwards if they're interested. So the objective here is try and close on the spot if you can. If you present a solution to them that immediately solves a problem and they're like, yeah, this is great, try and just close them right there and then. It's not too big of a deal, especially if it's a smaller business and it's not that big of a deal size. There's no reason why they wouldn't, just fork over a couple $100 to get started right then and there. So I've done that. I did that when I was starting out. It's not that difficult to do. But if it's more of a custom solution and they're a bit on the fence, then say, okay, no problem. Thanks for letting me know exactly what you're looking for. I feel like we are able to solve this for you. What I'm going to do is let me speak with my team. We're going to come back to you with a proposal. We'll send it over, exactly what the solution is going to look like. If you like it, then we can move forward. And if you have some trouble in coming up with like that initial offer or proposal at the beginning on exactly what to sell them, then I do have a video on the YouTube channel called The Easiest Go High Level Offer to Sell for Beginners. It's a really easy foot in the door offer that you can sell to pretty much any local business, and that's going to help you at least get started in the early phases. From there, we're going to create a proposal. So if a proposal is required, it's going to outline exactly what you're going to build, how long it's going to take, what price you're going to come in at, if there's an upfront and a monthly fee. Try and present it to them if you can in person, walk them through it, explain why each term is there and what the justification behind it is. Like, it's going to take 2 weeks because first we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. One thing I recommend with this as well is if you can make a flow chart like the way that I do with my TikToks. Visually explaining the solution does go a long way, helps them understand what am I going to be getting for what I'm paying and what does that end result look like. Otherwise, it's kind of up in the air. So the software that I use is called tldraw.com. So feel free to use that. Just make like a drawing and then you can attach that to the proposal and then walk them through that when it's time to actually present it. So ideally try and do it in person. Worst case, email it to them. The issue with emailing it, you're not there with them explaining it side by side. So they might see it on like a bad morning and they just brush it off and they just forget about it. And then it's hard to reach them. Or if they just read the price immediately with no justification, then they might just brush it off. And then you're not there to actually justify and explain it to them. So that's something to consider. If you don't know how to come up with your pricing for the automations, then please watch this video that I have on YouTube, how to price your automations. That's going to explain what the different factors are when coming up with a price. One thing to remember, which I think is important, is that these automations and everything that we're building inside the platform doesn't cost you anything. So you don't have any hard costs. So when you're coming up with a price, it's really whatever, at the early stages at least, it's whatever you're comfortable charging that you would be happy to receive in exchange for the work that's being completed. So that's why it's okay for your earlier projects to work for a bit cheaper just to get those testimonials and those case studies made. And then from there, if they accept the proposal, then we close the deal and then we go on to onboarding. Pretty simple to go from there. So then moving on to the onboarding process. So first thing I want to explain to you is how to get paid. I think that's something that everyone wonders. So the best and easiest way that you can get paid is actually through the Hexona platform itself. So we've got the payments tab over here. And this is where you can actually create custom invoices and subscriptions, here for your clients. And the way that you do that is plus new invoice in the top right-hand corner. And it's basically going to open up a invoice builder. So it's going to have your own, your logo there. If it doesn't, just add it. Then you actually bill it to the customer. So if you have the contact inside high level, then you just add their name, address, and then put that over here. Then you can create a product. You do add item. You just put the name of the automation, kind of what it's for. If you want to put some notes, put the price. You can put the description of what you're offering at the bottom. And then the price is going to show up here. And then here in the top right, you just press send. And then this gets sent as an email and an SMS to the prospect. And then they can pay this invoice directly with their credit card or PayPal or anything like that. And then that money goes directly to Stripe. And then from Stripe, it goes to your bank account if you've set that up correctly in the first stage. So this is a very easy way to get paid. You just send out invoices, they get paid, and the money comes in. For your payment structures, it's not uncommon to not ask for the full automation payment up front. You can do 50% upfront, 50% on completion. Since you're newer, maybe do 30% upfront, 70% on completion, whatever it takes to make your customer feel more comfortable, but also you getting paid for the work that you're doing. So once the customer pays that first invoice, we do have an option to then turn on auto charge. So that means they're not automatically going to be receiving invoices every month, which they have to manually pay, but it's basically just going to get your invoice paid automatically using their payment method. So you get paid on autopilot every single month, which is the end goal here. Obviously, as long as they've agreed to the subscription, the monthly retainer, so you can switch them to monthly autopay via Stripe. Now, going hand in hand with requesting payment, you also want to send over a contract when it's onboarding time. So you can use Dropbox Sign, which is what I use just because it's free. But obviously the main one is DocuSign. They both do the exact same thing. It's an e-signature. When you send out the contracts, it should obviously outline what you're going to be building for them. So you can't really use a same template every time. At least change the field where you're describing the automation and what the terms are. So, if you're getting paid 30% upfront, 70% on completion, all of those details should be outlined inside the contract. And if you're interested, I can maybe just send you a sample of mine upon request. So just DM me if necessary. From there, the next thing we're going to do is when they're ready to onboard, you've gotten paid and a signed contract, then you can invite the client into your sub account. So we have a sub account here as an example. You can go into settings in the bottom left-hand corner, and then you go to my staff. So this is an example from one of my clients, but you can see that they have 5 team members of theirs using the platform, which they invited in by just doing add employee. And then you can just add your client in. They can access the platform. They can access all of the different features, and you can actually limit what they see over here. So there's permissions, which you can edit. So they can only see exactly what you pitched to them or what you sold to them. And if there's certain features that you don't want them to see, then you can hide those as well. When a client has been invited to a sub account, they can only see that sub account that they're invited to. If you want them to see multiple for some reason, then you have to manually add them to the other sub accounts too. But your client should only ever see their sub account and have their access to their details. When you create an account for them, they're going to go to app.hexonasystems.com and they're going to log in just like you would and access everything that you built for them. And then the actual setup for their sub account. So the same way that you did it for yourself, you can go to settings, go to integrations here at the bottom, and then connect their Google account. So you can see that that company connected all of their employees' Google accounts over here. They connected their Facebook, Instagram, their Google My Business page, their ads account. So you can basically just set up their sub account the same way that you set up your own. And then they can basically have their own version of Hexona, which they run their business out of. So once the client onboarding is done, now you can actually start the fun where you build their automations, what they really contracted you for. So you can see here that this is what it looks like for one of my clients, where we've got a bunch of different automations built out for them. So a lot of them have like a couple hundred runs on them. So they're using it for like appointment conducted, sales triggers, confirmations, internal notifications for each other. So they're basically running their whole business out of the Hexona platform with all of these different automations running. And if you haven't seen already, this is what an automation looks like. So this is one of their appointment confirmation automations. Looks just like my TikToks where it's like a trigger plus different flows. So reminder email, wait 24 hours, this and that. Very easy to set up. Just watch the subsequent tutorials that I have after this teaching you how to build these. But this is in practice what my customer actually uses. So it's really cool to see it in action, and it just runs on autopilot. And then I just collect payments every single month. So that's your goal here right at the end. So collect your monthly recurring payments, do all of the steps that I just showed you, set up their automations, give them access to it, make sure your Stripe and everything is set up. And then honestly, you just keep stacking on clients and then the money just starts rolling in. And at the end of the day, that's why we're really doing this. One, to really help businesses transform their operations. But the whole point of everything that I just showed you is to build this automation agency, to start getting those monthly recurring checks, bringing so much value to these businesses, where you basically just transform them, take them from where they are to where they want to be. And hopefully you can make a lot of money in the process. So I hope this was useful. This was the entire blueprint A to Z on how to get your automation agency up and running. Now, of course, I didn't dive into super detail in each one of these, but there's specific videos made that I referenced that are for each one of these. But this is just to give you that guidance and that at least that roadmap on where you're headed and the different steps that are involved to get you to that end goal. So I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on School. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I know it's relatively long. So if you made it all the way to the end, if you're listening to this right now, DM me the word pineapple and I'll give you 5% off your next month's licensing fee, just as a token of appreciation for going through all of this. I don't know how many of you are actually going to do that, but yeah, welcome to the community and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.